Welcome to a couple of Burke's first annual Gammon Awards. Hooray! Went the crowd. Woo! So, this channel's been up and running for a while now, and since it's our first Christmas as a channel, we figured it deserved marking properly. Naturally, we're doing that in the most ACOB way. That's a couple of Burke's. In the most ACOB way possible, with a full-blown awards ceremony celebrating the far-right figures, sycophants and assorted dum-dums who kept us well supplied with content throughout the year. Now, there won't be a single Gammon of the year. That would be far too simple. And it wouldn't do justice to the sheer range of unhinged, dedicated and often baffling contributions these individuals have made to the far-right scene. So instead, we've created categories, 14 of them to be precise. 14. Whoa. Excuse me. I haven't. No. I've just overrolled my thing. 14 bespoke categories, each carefully designed to capture a very specific flavour of involvement, outrage, grift, or self-inflicted embarrassment. Every nominee has been thoughtfully selected, and each of our 14 winners will be taking home, virtually of course, their very own Gammon Award. It's a packed field, the competition is fierce, and we have a lot to get through, so let's not waste any time.
All right, so the first award up for grabs is the Incite Mince Pie Award. Yes, that's right. This category is all about the far-right figures who have crossed the line publicly, those who have flirted with or encouraged or normalised violence and other such rhetoric like that. We are talking, of course, about the people who have directly called for harm. We're talking about people who have expressed a desire to see harm done to individuals or groups, or who have spent years creating an atmosphere where violence feels justified, it feels inevitable, or even necessary. So, with that in mind, let's meet the nominees. In the first one, we've got Tommy Robinson, a.k.a. Stephen Yaxley Lennon, or as he's titled here, Romy Tobinson, because, we like to have a giggle. But Tommy earns his nomination for this year's Incite Mince Pie Award for the rhetoric that paints entire communities as inherently criminal, dangerous, or invasive by relentlessly framing groups as this existential threats. He feeds fear and anger, and it's a combustible mix. On top of that, he repeatedly hosted and shared platforms with speakers who openly talk about fighting or dying, civil conflict, and violent resistance. When you tell people they're under siege and surround them with talk of war, you don't need to issue a direct order of violence. Violence becomes the next logical step. That environment doesn't just invite harm, it primes it.
So, next, we have Marty Blagborough, or as we like to call him, Amish Audits. So he's an auditor from Yorkshire. Blagborough is known for producing xenophobic, inflammatory content, particularly around asylum seekers and protest movements like Palestine Solidarity Actions. His place on the list is well earned. He once told a reporter that boats carrying people across the channel should be shot at and sunk. This message was blunt and unmistakable. People seeking refuge deserve death. That kind of language doesn't just shock, it normalises the idea that violence against vulnerable people is acceptable. Next up, Elon Musk. A man I used to love, but a man I'd like to see the back of now. Elon earns his place here, not just for amplification, but for what he's personally chosen to say on stage. At a UTK, Unite the Kingdom event, Musk declared that we needed to fight back or we'll die. Framed as a warning, delivered to a crowd already steeped in angry grievance politics. When a figure of his wealth, reach and influence tells an audience that they need to fight back or they'll die, when he tells an audience that survival, depends on fighting back, he's not speaking in metaphors. He's endorsing a worldview where conflict is inevitable and violence become rationalised as self-defence.
Yes, and on that note, we also have Lucy Connolly. She's the last nominee in this category. She's a former childminder whose hateful online rant didn't just rile people up, but it landed her behind bars. On the day that 3 children were murdered in Southport, she took to social media to call for mass deportation now and urged her followers, I'm going to struggle reading this, I'll try and leave the bits out, but to set set fire to all the effing hotels full of the B words. And I just want to say categorically, because there are people out there that like to sort of report these things, those were her words, not ours, and we condemn them to the fullest on this channel. So she was explicitly encouraging arson and violence against asylum seekers and their homes. Her post was shared hundreds of times and viewed by hundreds of thousands of people before she eventually deleted it. And she ultimately pled guilty to inciting racial hatred, receiving a 31-month prison sentence for it. This level of incitement and reckless encouragement of violence earns her a very well-deserved spot in the incitement pie category. So, we'll get over to the winner. You ready? Give us a drum roll, Dad.
Hang on.
That's not a drum roll. Give us a drum roll.
Badum-tish.
Close enough. The
Okay.
winner is ta-da, Lucy Connolly. So she takes the Incitements Pie Award for her reckless and dangerous online post that didn't just spread hate, but they actively encouraged violence. Lucy's words created real-world risk, showing exactly how incendiary rhetoric can push people toward harming others. This is exactly the kind of behaviour that this award was meant to highlight.
So that's her. Next up, we've got the You Ain't Got the Baubles Award for the cowardly few. Think of the cowardly lion from The Wizard of Oz, but without the spine. First nominee, AY Audits. Remember that? You might have heard of that name. So recently, this geese, he challenged us to a face-to-face chat about why he frequently appears in our Burke Alert far-right files. And he was insistent, claiming that we didn't have the balls to show up. That's what he said. We wouldn't have the balls to show up, geese. So we called his bluff and we accepted. And if you saw the stream, you know how that turned out. He didn't show. But I had a lovely cup of coffee with marshmallows. But that was it. That was all that happened that day. He didn't show up. Then, of course, there's Lee Twamley, who protects women and kids by slapping anyone who gets near his camera. But when confronted by a younger male who wanted a fight, he tried to cycle away, got kicked off his bike, and ultimately fled on foot using his bike as a barrier. Aggression only when he thinks no one will fight back.
100%. Next up, we've got Danny Tomo and Ryan Bridge. Now, they're here for the same reason, so they're a joint nominee, as they're part of Operation Overlord. They headed to France to start confrontations, and when the confrontations actually happened, they shit themselves. They jumped into a car. Ryan needed to drink a bottle of water. Pull over, get a bottle of water. I need to calm my nerves. And Tomo had to console him, it's very cute, but obviously seriously lacking in the ball department, if you ask me. So those are the three nominees, even though there's four of them on your screen. Remember, two of them count as one. So let's get over to the winner. You ready? Before we do it, can people in the chat let us know who they think should have it, and if there's anybody else that they think should have been nominated? We're gonna make sure you do that for all of it. We really want to know what you've got to say, and we really appreciate your involvement and your engagement. So thank you all very much. We should have, but the winner is
right.
Yeah, but the winner is of the You Ain't Got the Balls Award. Is AY Audits. Now, I took this one personally. This is why he wins this one. But he earned the You Ain't Got the Balls Award for standing us up, basically. He was too scared to face questions. He has less courage than all of the others. He's not afraid of confrontation like the others are. He's not running away from a fight like the others are. But instead, he's running away from accountability itself. He ran away from questions. With a pending court case and all the scrutiny that's coming his way, AY, fucking get used to it. Get used to that level of scrutiny. Get used to that level of accountability. You're going to have to face questions sooner or later.
So next up is the Snow Place Like Home Award. We're so good at this, aren't we? This one's for nationalists who push the loudest, most extreme version of British patriotism while being as far removed from the consequences as humanly possible. These nominees love the UK in theory, but not enough to actually live here. Every one of them is an expat, flag shagging from afar. First nominee, as you probably would imagine, Paul Fulp, founder of Unite UK, a movement whose name suggests unity, despite being built almost entirely on division. Thorpe left the watch trade and moved seamlessly into trading in fear, grievance, and racist dog whistles. From Spain, he regularly describes asylum seekers as invaders and illegals framing them as an existential threat to a country he no longer lives in. He rants about the collapse of British values, the destruction of British culture, and the future of Britain, all while enjoying the sun, sangria, and life completely insulated from the consequences of the politics he pushes. It's easy to demand hard borders when you've already crossed one. And next, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, a man so committed to British nationalism, he rebranded himself as Tommy to sound more local. He's organised protests that regularly descend into violence, racism, and open bigotry, pushing an aggressive, exclusionary vision of Britain while holding an Irish passport and living in Spain. Nothing screams defender of the nation quite like stirring chaos from abroad, then hopping on a flight back to the Med whenever things get uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Finally, we've got Charlie Mullins. So Charlie was such a committed gammon that when Britain didn't go the way he wanted, he left. A man whose politics would have been more at home in 1930s Germany than modern Britain. But since time travel isn't really an option, he settled for a Ryanair flight. Honestly, good. Fuck him. So, the winner of the Snow Place Like Home Award is Paul Thorpe. Yes. So, Paul wins because he perfectly embodies this category. He built a brand around aggressive nationalism, fear of outsiders, and nostalgia for a Britain that he claims is being destroyed, then promptly removes himself from it. He demands loyalty, sacrifice, or at least that's the sort of rhetoric that he expects of British people. The loyalty, the sacrifice, the toughness from all these people back home while living comfortably abroad, free from the social, economic, and political fallout of the ideologies and ideas that he spreads. He wants Britain hardened, he wants Britain divided and hostile, but only from a safe distance. Paul Thorpe just loves Britain from afar. He just needs to be far away for his ideology to actually work.
So next up is the Can't Be Exposed to Bright Light, Get Wet, or Be Fed After Midnight award. This one's for the human equivalent of a gnat at a barbecue. Relentlessly irritating. I know this one is already, and I haven't read this one yet. Relentlessly irritating, constantly causing problems, and being an absolute nuisance as a default setting. These people don't just show up, they disrupt, provoke, and poison everything around them. So let's meet the nominees. Okay, first nominee is Danny Tomo. So Danny earns this nomination for his antics over in France. Not just running away from confrontations, but sneaking around and slashing dinghies he believed were intended for channel crossings. Dangerous, reckless, and morally bankrupt behaviour that risks lives while he plays action hero for content. Vile stuff. Not only that, that thing he apparently dug up from the sand wasn't even a dinghy. It was a rain cover for a dinghy. Next we have Society X for this first nomination. That's our Jamie. At every opportunity, the mask slips and the real Jamie appears. Behind the Society X branding is a calculated operator running what amounts to be a stochastic clubhouse on YouTube. He spreads false rumours, targets smaller creators, and stirs drama for clicks and clout. At one point, he even floated the idea of displaying footage from my son's deceased fiancée's television series, which was documenting her life as a disabled woman just trying to get by, on his channel. No consent, no empathy, no line he won't cross. There is no depth too low for this one. And he's worked very hard to earn his place here. Yes.
He absolutely has. He's worked very hard over a long period of time. He knows exactly why he's here. Next up, we've got Lee Twomley. Apologies if I may have spelt his name incorrectly here. I didn't have a chance to go back and correct it. But Lee turns up at protests either running away from men he started confrontations with or slapping women who get too close to his camera. Aggressive, misogynistic, and thoroughly unpresent. If you're a woman listening to this and you attend protest, avoid this gremlin. He is as vile as they come. And then there's DP audits. When he's not invading hotels, spreading misinformation, or being humiliated by other larger auditors, he's attempting to rehabilitate his image by accusing innocent people of being paedophiles and broadcasting those accusations to a sizable audience. He attempted a so-called sting over Christmas, targeting a family without evidence, preparation, or legitimacy. According to the Street Video Reviewer channel, go check him out, and according to other established hunter groups and police statements shared publicly, the individual he is accused was not guilty of what DP accused him of. What was clear is that his actions caused distress, chaos, and potentially danger, and in our view, crossed the line into outright aggression. In my opinion, I say he assaulted at least 2 people there. He spat at one, whilst, I say spitting, it's what he calls talking. And you can see spit all over the door of a family who were just trying to hide away from him and enjoy their Christmas period in their own home. So this isn't activism, it's reckless vigilantism for clicks.
And the winner is, as you may have imagined, it's DP. Horrible little man. DP takes home the Bright Light Water Midnight Award because he's not just annoying, he's dangerous. An aggressive, mindless dum-dum whose behaviour risks real-world harm. He escalates situations, throws around life-ruining accusations, and hides behind a camera while he's doing it. So, yes, well earned. Well earned.
Up next, we have the Creepy Cranberry Award. Now, it sounds gross because it is, and this is easily the least desirable award of the night. So, this one is for people with a history of sexual offences that have landed them in prison, who then decided that auditing was a sensible next career move. Disturbingly, that crossover isn't as rare as you might want to think. There is only one nominee for this, and therefore, there is only one winner. This is DJE Media. And despite a conviction of sexual harm prevention, despite a conviction and a sexual harm prevention order, DJE is still out there live streaming and filming vulnerable people, harassing asylum seekers, and dropping racial slurs for fun. Does anybody remember the end drops he was dropping in his content? The problem is obvious. The very behaviour he is now monetised for is closely tied to what the court sent him to prison for in the first place: recording people with his camera for nefarious reasons. So the winner of the Creepy Cranberry Award is DJE, an award that no one should ever want, and that, that exists for a reason, though. So, up next, Pops. I know we don't have much on the script way that way. I wasn't able to get it all done and sent out properly, but I will wing it from here and I'll walk you through it. It's nice and simple.
Cool.
But up next, we have the Adolf the Red-Nosed Reindeer Award. Now, this one's a bit of a contentious one, but this one is aimed at people who have openly Nazi or Nazi-adjacent beliefs and don't even try to hide it. They're loud, they're proud, and they're rotten to the core. So, the nominees are Nick Fuentes, Britt Fuentes, a.k.a. Hugh Anthony, to give him his real name, and Nick Tenconi. Do you think that they're a good... Do you think they're a good nomination list so far?
I think that's fantastic. Yeah. Each one a little star in their own right.
Absolutely. But it was a tough one. I'm not going to lie, it was a tough one. I mean, Nick Tenconi has been seen giving the old Roman salute in wake of Elon Musk's awkward gesture. We know what that means, with his armband on and everything. His particular brand of nationalism is extremely Nazi adjacent in the most aesthetic and obvious of ways. Britt Fuentes...
He even dresses like a brown shirt, for goodness sake.
He absolutely does.
Where does he think he is?
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Then we've got Britt Fuentes, who the reason he's made the nomination list this time is because, the particular brand of Christian ethno-nationalism that he pushes isn't just Nazi adjacent. It's like someone's holding a mirror up to pick a random Nazi. This dude is saying the same things that they would have said in 1930s. The things that he says are, as an example, that being British isn't about nationality, citizenship, or any of those things, but instead it's something better than that. It's in your blood and you can feel it. Whoa, you know what I mean? It's nothing that you can prove, nothing that you can do. It's just a feeling that you have, which is very reminiscent of the rhetoric that was used by the Nazi Party in 1930s Germany. Then we've got Nick Fuentes, the man himself. This dude, this haunted suit of a man, is as far right and Nazi as they come. I'm putting him on this list because recently he had an interview with Piers Morgan in which, and I'm paraphrasing because I can't actually repeat some of the things he said on that interview, but I will say that he essentially was saying, Hitler good, I meme on you, fuck everyone, I don't care. He's as openly fascist gets in 2025. And so for that reason, He isn't the winner. It's Brit Fuentes. I tricked you there a little bit, didn't I? We like to keep it fresh over here. No, it's Brit Fuentes because he is organising a protest in the UK and named it after a far-right event that saw people murdered in America. He is as on the nose gets. He's styled himself after Nick Fuentes. And you know what? In my opinion, I say he goes a step above and beyond. And also, because he is British, you know, it would be remiss to place them, to put Nick Fuentes in here for contributions to the far right when Brit Fuentes is doing it all. Our very own homegrown Nazi. The next award is the Slay What Award. I was debating whether or not to do that, and I did it. I went for it. The Slay What Award is for those who say the daftest, stupidest, most unhinged nonsense imaginable. The kind of statements that make you stop, rewind, and ask, did they really just say that?
Am I in this one?
No. But look who is in there, though. So the nominees at the moment are CP Reports, Nick Fuentes, and Tommy Robinson. So CP Reports. Dad, do you want to? I mean, I'll let you do this one. I'm sure you understand why we picked CP Reports.
No, I'd rather you continue with this. You're doing such a good job. I'm chuckling away. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Let's crack on with it. So, CP Reports, better known as ET if you watch Annie Says, is she's making the list because of the outrageous radicalized far right turn that she took recently. So after appearing on, she got a start on Society X's panel, the Stochastic Clubhouse, where she was exposed to a variety of far right debauchery. Essentially, it was just far right conspiracy theory after trope after racist fucking sentiments, all of it. And then she gradually went from just wanting to fit in, which it's quite a sad thing that she's appearing as a nominee on here. And you will see why in a minute, but it is a sad story because CP Reports just wanted to fit in. She just wanted to make some friends. And in her pursuit of following this hobby of filming and joining in with the crowd and joining in with these auditors, she found herself on the dark side, on the far right side of it. And whether it was Roy, AY, One Generation Media, anybody that was on Society X's panel when she was, it could have been any of them. But that rhetoric has now seeped in. And a person who previously I would have said wasn't racist is now going outside. I swear to God this happened. She went to a hotel, went round the back of the hotel, saw a random black individual and told him to fuck off back to Nigeria. She actually said that.
Yep. And she said worse. I mean, well, she's been wandering around the streets. Whose streets? My streets, whatever the bollocks. This is not reporting. This is being an activist. There's nothing else. And then she pretends to be a reporter. This is something that's ruined the auditing scene, isn't it? That these people pretend to be part of it, and they're just activists. They're just activists. All three of these are the same. Fucking. It's been watching her journey, you know, and how she was. I mean, she was groomed into this. Absolutely.
She was.
But that doesn't excuse her behaviour because she bloody well knows what she's doing.
Yeah, it's not how did they get into this situation. It's more so where we are now. It's the situation itself. And right now, CP Reports has definitely earned her position on this nominee list for the award of Slay What? So, Nick Fuentes. Now, I didn't go into detail about what exactly Nick Fuentes said on the Piers Morgan show because I wanted to save it for this particular part here. So during the interview, when Piers Morgan pressed him about past comments praising Adolf Hitler, Nick Fuentes did what any Nazi would do and defended Hitler, defended his comments at least, saying that Hitler was really fucking cool, remarking at Nazi uniforms, parades, and the aesthetic of the regime, rather than, doing the normal thing of condemning the historic reality of genocide. No, he instead doubled down on his love for Adolf Hitler. Then we've got Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson makes this list not for something that he said this year, but the thing that he said in previous years that have gone by are coming up again. And people I've heard a lot of people say, Tommy Robinson can't be racist. He only hates Muslims, which would land him firmly in the bigot, xenophobic bracket. But he is racist. There doesn't need to be an argument about semantics. He is a racist. And this is the same man who not only is wildly Islamophobic, not only wildly exclusionary in his policies and everything else, and is now attached to far-right party Advance UK, but he is also the same man who was calling a taxi driver the P word. I'm sure you can guess what ethnicity that man might have been. He's out there calling people slurs. That man is, by definition, a racist. So, give me a drum roll, please.
Ding.
Your winner is Nick Fuentes, obviously. And why not? Because you can't just talk about the Holocaust as like something that is being used as a browbeat for white Americans to stifle their pride, or framing the victims as suffering as a political tool rather than, a genuine historical atrocity, which is what it was. So,
That's
there you go.
Speech. At the arse end of speech for each, that bloke, then he lives right at the arse end of it.
And he's picked himself up a Gammon Award, and he's going home with it, virtually.
Oh, he'll enjoy his Gammon Award, I'm sure.
So, the next one, this one's a fun one. This one is it's quite a specific award. They've all been very specific, but this category is even more refined than the others. This particular one, the Egg Snog Award, is dedicated to the Simps.
See what we did there?
It's dedicated to the bootlickers, the defenders, the ride or die fans of auditors, and far-right figures who can do no wrong in their eyes. Should we see who the nominees are?
The nominees are... For the second nomination, you've got Society X, I can see.
And we've got also, Mr. In Between News.
Mr. In Between the Cheeks of My Butt. Is that it? Just two of them? Is that all
Just the two of them, yeah. These are the only two nominees because, let's face it, these people are the simpiest of simps when it comes to far right. They really are, though. They're not just the simpiest of simps, but they are the ride or dies, the defenders that will, under no uncertain circumstances, defend the indefensible. Right? That is exactly what they do. So whether it's having people like AY Audits present on your panel, whether it's having Based Welshman, let's go back, let's talk about Reese, let's talk about all these other figures, which people watching shorts and stuff later on might not necessarily...
except for just one or two, they're all back as well, they're all back.
They're all back. You got your Vegas. It is the Stochastic Clubhouse. It's the place where all of the Stochastic auditors get to go to meet up, to network, and as we saw in the case of CP audits, to radicalize people further. Yep. He's not just platforming hate, but by doing so, he is complicit in the spread of hate.
He's hosting these people that do it.
He's simping for them, and he'll defend them no matter what. If you've got a large enough audience, he'll defend anything. I mean, you could be, even if you're a large enough donator, he'll simp to them too. That's what he does. That's his thing. Then we move over to Mr. In Between News, otherwise known as Ray. He styled himself after a sort of hard man TV show character, and in reality, this little teddy bear couldn't be any further from the distance. He's a lover. He's a simp, and he loves simping. His particular far right auditing. Sorry, his particular form of simping isn't known to boundaries. It doesn't have barriers, is what I'm trying to say. He will simp for anybody that even remotely resembles something that he believes in. So whether it's the auditors, because he is a sort of audit adjacent sort of person, I wouldn't call him an auditor per se, but he does make content where he reviews other people's content who are actually going out and creating that content. And,
I've seen him going out and creating his own content. Sorry to interrupt. And it's just shit. I mean, I saw him yesterday. He was having a go at people who like arguing with and almost fighting with people that were protesting against Barclays because of their involvement with Israel and stuff, without ever knowing what they were there for. He had no idea why they were there. They were just people he could argue with. Just that, for the clicks. I'm sorry, but when it comes to making his own content, it's shit. Carry on, man.
No, absolutely, I agree with you. Mr. Crotchwatch, we call him. You'll see him often pointing his camera down at his crotch when he's filming his content, which is weird. I don't know why he does it, and I really wish he would stop. But it's not
the
just
name of Crotchwatch might stick with a bit of luck.
With a bit of luck, yeah. Let's hope so. Let's hope Brit Fuentes and Crotchwatch stick. But that sounded gross. Maybe not, but you know what I mean. But yeah, no, Mr. In Between News, as it stands, Ray is he's an avid hardcore node within the far right auditing network, the ecosystem that is there. No, he did that was a funny thing that was meant to catch people out, but yeah, that's exactly it. So Mr. Obscene, but he doesn't just stop there. It's not just auditors. He'll simp for any far right figures. I mean, J.K. Rowling and everything. Just look at his page. His page is full of it. So, who's going to win this award then? Is it Society X or is it Mr. In Between News? It's Mr. In Between News. Hey! He is at it every day, and because his simping knows no bounds, it's not just auditors, it's not just anyone that can benefit his platform as it is with Society X. Instead, it's Mr. In Between News.
You're a slag.
Everybody.
He's a slag. He'll simp anything. Good lad.
He is. Little simpity simper.
Who's that little elf there? Who's that little elf look like to you?
Absolutely no idea.
No, mate.
No, me. This is the Santa's Little Helper Award. Now, before we were talking about the simps, and we were talking about the individuals simping for other individuals within the far right. But this particular award is not for the individuals, but for the platforms itself, with absolutely zero standards. If you're a toxic extremist, if you're openly harmful, then don't worry. These guys will give you a microphone.
Ah, yes.
So we've got GB News, who will platform anybody and anything. They don't care. As long as you are even remotely far right, they will have you on there. If you are the most unplatformable person, they will have you on there. In fact, they will even give channels to far right figures shows on their channel to people like Nigel Farage. And remember, it says GB News and it says News Channel, but it's important to understand that GB News, despite its name, isn't actually a news station at all.
No, it's education.
It's none of those things.
Not education. What am I saying? Entertainment, not education. What am I saying? Yes, absolutely. It's entertainment. Runs under an entertainment license. Well, that's all it ever could be. All it ever could be. So, who have we got?
All it ever could be, yeah. Then we've got Dan Wootton. So that was GB News, and then we're moving over to Dan Wootton, who has, in his own little exile, since saying and doing some very creepy, awful, disgusting things, was exiled from the usual far-right circles and had to dig a bit deeper. He's platforming people like AY Audits, for example, who are on the fringes of far-right bigots. He's not the biggest far-right bigot there is. There's people like Tommy Robinson. There's all sorts of characters out there. But he does have a substantial following. And he is welcome on Dan Wootton's show, where Dan Wootton proceeded to talk all over him, which is really strange. I'm really not understanding why AY would go on to Dan Wootton's show after saying openly that he would not be friends or be around, and I can't say the word because it's a slur to describe homosexual men. So why was he going on Dan Wootton? Maybe it's just about the grift. Who fucking knows? Maybe even his own personal values.
Oh, could it be the grift? No, surely not. These men are honourable, all of them. So
as we said earlier, Society X. He's up again pretty much for the same reason.
I think. Is it?
I believe it is. Yeah. Hopefully,
well done, Jamie. Well done, lad. Well done.
Well done. He's worked hard for it as well. I mean, it didn't not for nothing. You know what I mean? This guy's really, really putting in some effort here. I mean, if you're disgusting, despicable, if you've been banned from absolutely everywhere, if you describe entire ethnic groups as savages, if you want to push white supremacy, it's okay. Jamie will legitimize it as just another side of a debate. It's just an opinion. And then we'll completely ignore any of the real world harm that then gets associated with spreading such vile and disgusting rhetoric on his own platform. Now, I want to make a point here. I don't think that Jamie is a far-right figure. I think that Society X is a stochastic clubhouse. Now, what I mean by that is that if you were to speak to Jamie, I don't think that he holds any genuinely racist opinions. I don't think that he's a bigot either way. I think if you were a Muslim and you walked up to him and said, "Yo, mate, can you point me in the direction of a train station?" He'd point you in the direction of a train station the same as he would anyone. He doesn't really care. You know what I mean? He's very mild, but this is the nature of the grift, isn't it? He doesn't actually believe any of the stuff that's being said on his panels. However, his panel is the hub for the worst sorts of white nationalist, xenophobic, exclusionatory views that you can possibly get. There are people on there. There are people on there who have said when we would, in fact, let's talk about Reese. At one point on our channel, on this very platform here, he was saying things like, fuck the people in Palestine. I hope they all die, and I hope God sorts it out. Let God sort it out. Fuck them, right? Even that was something that he said on these streams. You can go back, you can have a look. It's all out there. Then he said something else about Islam, which another creator picked up on. It made its way back to his employer, who then, you know, put him on
we were supposed to have grassed him up for that. Never mind.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was all me apparently. But no, yeah, so it made its way back to his employer. He was suspended, but still continues to be gainfully employed. He was told off, but everything was fine. But despite that, despite these very open acts, he is still best buds and a permanent panel fixture on Society X. And that's not even getting into the Jupiters. That's not talking about the horrid things that have been said on there by people like Vincent Vega, describing all Middle Easterners as savages. If you go through Society X's shorts, you'll see, you know, where we used to have those arguments and conversations.
Yeah.
It's absolutely horrendous. Then we've got Liam Tufts. He is if Society X is the stochastic hub, then Liam Tufts is the hub for all the wannabe fake gangsters and far-right figures of the UK. All of them. In fact, I would say that there isn't really a far-right figure in the UK that hasn't been on Liam Tufts, where they can go and launder their reputation, where he will ask those tough questions, such as, did you really threaten to burn down that school, or was it just something like, you know, was it a comment like over my dead body sort of thing? You know, the real hard questions that hold people accountable for their actions and words, right?
The ones that come complete with the suggested answers, kind of questions.
Yeah, exactly that. So he also fairly recently had AY audits on his stream, where he proceeded to just go straight to the balls. I mean, full glaze, just glog, doing the whole works. He did all of it. And he was there on that show that we heard AY say that the headline for his manhunt that was in the papers, in the Epping Guardian, that was titled manhunt for, I'm trying to remember it exactly, but I'm going to have to paraphrase instead. It's along the lines of manhunt for a man wanted for threats to kill against two different women, right? So on this show, he said that, yes, that happened, and I would like an opportunity to explain it. So we thought, oh, this is something to be explained. Maybe it is. Maybe we've misunderstood. Then he proceeded to admit that he threatened to burn down a school to kill teachers because they taught woke things that he didn't like. But what's really interesting about that particular story that Liam Tuft did not challenge him on whatsoever was the fact that in the paper itself, if Liam Tuff had done any sort of journalistic work behind the scenes, if he had any sort of ethics or a code of conduct, he would have looked at the report. And the report itself said it happened on more than one occasion. So either he threatened to burn down the same school and the same two teachers on on more than one occasion, or it was multiple schools, or what he did was so bad that threatening to burn down a school was seen as a good cover. So who knows? But this is a tight one, isn't it? Who platforms the most knob headery? Is it GB News, Dan Button, Society X? Is it Liam Tufts? Who do we think? It's Liam Tufts, of course. That's a shame. I really had high hopes for Liam. I really wasn't expecting to see him here, especially when I saw him on his show talking to AY. I thought, this is a journalist who asks all the hard hitting questions right there.
Yeah.
What a disappointment.
What brought you into this, AY? That stuff. What brought you into this? That's his hardest question he asked, I think.
Yeah, and I'm also noticing we are getting a shit ton of comments and stuff, and there is a bunch of people that we do want to be interacting with, and we will be getting to those comments very shortly. We're nearly there-ish. I don't know how many we've got through, but we've got a few more to get through, but we'll be doing it at the end. Can't
be that many left now, can there?
No, let's have a look. Let's find out. This next award, the Deck the Halls with Coke and Molly Award.
Oh, I know this one.
Oh, we don't know this one. So this one, again, is another short award. It's not between many nominees, but this is for the far-right figures who famously have a past history with drugs. And this is no judgment. This is just because I wanted an opportunity to say Deck the Halls with Coke and Molly. So, Tommy Robinson is the first nominee that we have here. Tommy Robinson,
Keep donating, guys. Keep donating.
Keep donating. It all goes right up his nose, and he said so himself. Tommy Robinson has made videos in which that were released on the internet. In there, he was saying that he has personally found it very easy to buy cocaine all over the world. Get cocaine here, get cocaine there, cocaine everywhere. It's Christmas, it's snowing white, right? So Tommy Robinson is very famously a cokehead, which is why he has earned his nomination here. And again, no judgment. Cocaine is a very serious problem, and addiction is a disease. But the reason he makes it on here is because he's fueling that addiction with money he's getting from donators, with money he's getting from you guys. This is all about
allegedly.
Well, I mean, his job. This is how I see it. He earns money for being a far right bigot, for being a grifter, for being someone that preys on people's fears, preys on all that. All of that money that he gets comes from either his sponsors or supporters or shekels or whatever it is, and all of that money is, it seems, going on flashy cars that he doesn't own. Wink, wink, and. And it's going right up his nose.
The finest Colombian marching powder money can buy.
Which is probably why they didn't let him in Colombia that time he tried to land there. They were like, no, even we've don't have enough cocaine.
We've got enough cocaine here. No, stay away.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. And then we've got Lee Twomley, who I believe I've spelled his name correctly in this one. The W before the A, I'm not too sure. We talked about him before. This was the guy who was out bitch slapping people at protests while recording it, making his markers in order to on a woman's cheek. But yeah, this particular dude has a rather strange history with drugs. Let me walk you through this. Lee Twomley. I first became aware of this person thanks to Hope Not Hate, who took a picture of him at the front of a re-migration march. Now, when he was at the front of this re-migration march with Paul Golding, it was obvious that he wants people to, re-migrate. And if you're wondering why I'm saying that so stupidly and so obviously to make sure that everybody understands those words, is because this is the same man who got in serious drug debts with a gang and was caught and prisoned for, you'll never guess what. Go on, they'll never guess it. Dad, you tell him instead. Go on, tell him what he did.
No, I'm not going to tell him because I've forgotten.
Well, then I'll do it. You know what he did?
No, go on.
Go on, no, you do it.
No, go on, you do it. I want you to do it.
He got arrested and sent to prison for smuggling people across the channel. Can you believe
this way? Smuggling them this way.
To the UK, yes. Smuggling people to the UK from France across the channel. What an absolute hypocritical piece of shit.
Wants to stop the boats, wants to stop all them foreigners. Unless they're in his suitcase.
Unless they're in his van. Unless he has a drug debt to a gang, at which point... I mean, that was the excuse he used, that he was indebted to a drug gang and he had to be able to pay off his bills. So there you go. So who do we think deserves the top spot here? Is it Tommy Robinson or is it Lee Twomley?
Ooh, I'm torn. I am torn. I think Lee. I don't know.
I think Tommy Robinson, because at least Lee was putting in work to pay off his own drug debts with his own money, going in for even if that work was incredibly illegal and massively hypocritical, considering his ideology being stood at the front of these remigration marches. Tommy Robinson is out there using your money. But if you're paying for Tommy Robinson, there is a chance. It's I'm not saying it's likely or giving you what the likelihood is, but there is a chance, however insignificant, that your money went directly up his schnauzer.
Up his nose. Up the snooper. Right, what's next, young fella, me lad?
Up next, we've got the Misogynist Under the Mistletoe Award.
Ah, yes. What a great picture that is. What a great picture that is.
Absolutely. So, could you read out the nominees for us, Dad?
I can see Tommy Robinson. I can see Andrew Tate. And I can't see the names of the other two. I can only see their face. When you come around to see this tomorrow, you won't believe how I managed. I am so
I know your PC's all messed up at the moment. But So we've got Tommy Robinson, Andrew Tate, as my dad said. We've also got Nick Fuentes and Lawrence Fox. So all of these people in their own way have said incredibly misogynistic things. Tommy Robinson with his harassment of reporters, Lawrence Fox with the way that he targets women and also the dirty, disgusting sexual offences that were committed by himself. which I don't particularly want to go too much into. He nearly got himself a creepy Cranberry Award, but DJE is just had to be addressed.
DJ is just who he is. He's like a
Nick Fuentes, as well as being, you know, a typical far right fascist Nazi, he's also longing for the times where far right nationalist Nazis were treating women like shit. You know, that old school 30s, 50s vibe, you know, 30s vibe where they're like a man slaps a woman and he's like, "I love you, Sally." You know, that sort of shit. Get back in the kitchen.
With the leather gloves.
Yeah, refusing to. Yeah, I mean, it's these people that have open contempt for women. Their sexism is wrapped up in tradition. It's wrapped up in biology. It's wrapped up in just telling it like it is. But everybody knows a dickhead that just tells it like it is. Well, here's 4 of them. So, of these guys, let's see who wins. Drum roll, please.
Tish.
Andrew Tate. Yes. So he is, of all of them, he has built a career on misogyny and is facing some very serious and very hefty allegations at the moment. Now, this is all alleged. I don't think he's been formally
Speaking of facing,
charged.
He carries a black eye well, doesn't he? Don't you think?
He does, yeah. So, this was after his hug fest. You know, this big, bad fucking, what do you call him? Alpha male that's going out there and then got hugged by a guy. The guy that beat him hugged him for 6 rounds. He beat him with hugs for 6 rounds while wearing pink gloves and came out to the song of Mariah Carey. Now that is something to go home and tell your daddy about, Tate.
Yeah, so yeah, he wears that well. Bless him. Bless his little heart and cotton socks.
Little misogynist, isn't he? Little cutie pie misogynist.
Yeah, little sodgy.
So we're getting closer towards the end now. We are at the Global Grinch Award. Now, I'm sure most of you will be able to guess what this is, but this is for the far-right figures who aren't just a problem here, but they're a fucking problem everywhere, exporting hate, chaos, reactionary nonsense, and cross-border bullshit. So, before we get to that one, though, I just need to make sure that I've got my notes up for 2 of the figures that are in there, but we'll get over to the nominees. Now, 2 of these people you may not immediately know, and I wouldn't want to normally give them the sort of airtime, if you will, but I did think it was important to talk about them because of their involvement within this particular operation. So this one isn't an award for any one individual that's gone over it in their own different way. This is about people who have come together in Operation Overlord. Do you remember what Operation Overlord was, Dan?
I know what the original Operation Overlord, and it's an insult to every person that died on that fucking day. The original Operation Overlord was, of course, the reinvasion of Europe by Britain, America, the Australians, and goodness knows who else. All our Commonwealth brothers back on it, taking the beaches back at Dunkirk and all those other places. And it was named Operation Overlord. Thousands of people died there, giving us back. Died fighting fucking fascism, for goodness sake. And yeah, what a name to take of all the things. Who do they think they are? Who do they think they are? It's disgraceful. So yes, that's what I know about Operation Overlord, mate.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. So Operation Overlord is an offshoot from Operation Raise the Colours. So Raise the Colours was created by people like Andy Saxon, who went to prison for his part in a racist death. It was pushed by people like Gurmit Singh, who went to prison for threatening to slash the throat of a shopkeeper that he'd tied up while they were robbing him. It's steeped in disgustingness. No, not everyone that is flying a flag is racist. Of course not. That's just stupid. It was never about that. We're saying that Operation Raise the Colours was founded and propagated by extremist far-right individuals who have been to prison, one of them at least, for their involvement in a racist death where a man was killed by a car that crushed him. It's obscene. And now this is the sort of the subsidiary, the franchise, if you will. They're branching out.
Oh, so, these are the people behind that. I mean, people who saying this flying the flag things was organic and it grew up from, it grew organically. No, it didn't. It grew up with hard cash that was spread around by some of these people here.
Absolutely, and fundraised by these people, convincing other folks that they were just being proud to be British, but what they were doing was using the flag as an exclusionary extension of their own xenophobic ideologies. Jason Marina, I'm not too sure how you say that. This particular dude here was unknown to me, but he's actually a really toxic, evil piece of shit. He's the former leader of the Chelsea Headhunters, which is, for those of you that don't know, a notorious football hooligan group. He's been reported to have joined some of these Northern France actions alongside Bridge down here and Thomas up here. And he's been out there causing confrontations, kicking off, and taking part in this group that are now attacking journalists, humanitarian workers and asylum seekers in France. They're not even in the UK anymore. They've gone international with their fuckery. He also has deep and serious connections to Combat 18, to the fucking KKK. This guy is as downright dirty and as filthy as you get with regards to the far right. He is embedded as embedded gets. Then we've got Danny Tomo, who is one of the bigger, more public figures of this. He's the one who's out there making the videos, reportedly slashing dinghies, which were just rain covers that he buried in the sand. In my opinion, I don't think they were there. I really do believe, just like a lot of other people on the internet right now, that it was just something he brought over there with him or bought there while he was there, put it under the sand, and then gave it.
I think he found it. I think they took the rain cover off and left it behind, and I think he's found that, and it was either half buried or he's pretended to bury it, or he's buried it and pretended to dig it up. But it wasn't a dinghy; it was a rain cover. For goodness' sakes, if people go back and look at that picture, you'll see it.
Yeah, you will. You absolutely will. That's how that is. But that was this guy. That was the guy with the knife who was cutting that stuff, who's going and starting fights. His mouth is cashing checks that his little tiny fragile mind can't cash. So he runs away with Ryan Bridge, who's out there doing the exact same thing as Danny Tomo right now, trying to gain notoriety and trying to get your hard-earned cash. Give us donations. Ryan and Danny have been seen talking about why they need donations, stab-proof vests, torches, all of these, like the equipment, stab-proof vests, the radios. Yeah, all this stuff. They're starting to operate as a sort of like a faux paramilitary group almost.
I know, right? It's funny. But yeah, they should have joined the army. You know what I mean? If they wanted to have fun, should have joined it.
But the trouble is, we've seen what happens when they face confrontation. They shit a brick and run away. Pull over the car quick, I need a drink of water. Oh, God. Get to the border. Get to the border now. That is a spot-on Ryan Bridge impersonation.
There you go, Ryan. Happy days.
And then we've got Elliot Stanley, who was a member of the Raise the Colours, who then went off to France and joined Bridge and Thomas, and he's planning and executing the trip. He's out there right now being a cunt with them in their little group of cunts.
There's some country going on.
So out of all of these figures, though, who do we think deserves the Global Grinch Award? I mean, they're all out there globally. I mean, internationally. They're in France. They got on a plane.
I think I don't know. I'm a bit of a Ryan Bridges guy myself over this, I think. Mister, come over here and say that. Oh shit, he's coming. Get in the car. Yeah.
The winner is, of course, Danny Tomo, because he is the most notable figure out of all of them. If he's not running away from fucking asylum seekers from fights that he started, then you can catch him talking to Guz Khan on the internet, having a nice back and forth where he channels his inner Batman. All right, guys. I'm vengeance. I'm the night. No, Danny Tomo, you're a dickhead cosplaying as a paramilitary man that nobody asked for.
Hey, good award.
It is a good award. We like that award. So let me just make sure. I just want to double check. Right. So we've got one more Gammon award after this, and then we've got another award that isn't Gammon related, but you're gonna love it. So we're ready.
Yep.
This is the last Gammon award that is being handed out from a couple of Burks in our first annual Gammon Awards show.
So you people that haven't had an award so far, come on. Fingers crossed, guys.
Fingers crossed. This is the Griftmas Pudding Award.
See what he did there? Griftmas.
See what I did there? Yeah. So for the grifters, for people whose hearts clearly aren't in it, if they even have hearts at all, and for those who know that they are pushing hatred purely for money, clout, and donations. The nominees are Well, surprise, surprise.
Fourth showing for Society, Jamie. Fourth.
Another one.
God,
And then
blimey.
we've also
Hope
got
you've
Marty
got a bet on
Blackburn.
Jamie.
I hope you got a bet on, mate. Now may be the chance. Now may be the
Yeah.
chance.
Marty
We've got Marty
Blackburn.
Blackburn.
Charlie Veach. And young Bob.
And Young Bob. So we'll
Hello,
start with
Bob.
Young Bob. Why not? We'll start with Young Bob. Young Bob,
Young Bob.
his heart definitely isn't in it. And we know so from listening to the way that he talks about other people within the same ecosystem. Where he talks
The
about
private
Nick Tony,
chat. Yeah.
the private chat that was exposed by Hope Not Hate. Go and check it out if you haven't. That's exposed audio from Young Bob.
If anyone's ever pissed down their own leg, it was him having that private chat, wasn't it?
But he's 17 years old. He's pissing down his leg. He's pissing in the bed. He's a kid, man, you know. He is the single most useful tool of the left right now. And I mean tool. He is currently at the moment running around trying to be a sort of miniature Charlie Kirk by doing this, you know, debate me on this subject, debate me on that subject, where he dish gallops a whole bunch of far-right talking points, throws them into a big word salad, and then just sits back and smiles like a smug little prick. But this dude, we know his heart isn't in it. We know that he can see the grift. We know he's a part of the grift. We know that he is a grift and was put in because he said so himself. We know that he recognizes exactly what's going on behind it. And in his own words, I'm only turning up to some events and certain events because I'm paid to, because it's my job. His heart isn't in it. He's not really a far-right racist piece of shit. It's just that's where the money's at.
Indeed.
Speaking of pieces of shit, Charlie Veach.
Go on. Charlie Veach.
Charlie Veach has made his money by filming vulnerable people and doing poverty tourism right across the UK. His particularly aggressive and egregious style of auditing, vlogging, whatever you want to call it, isn't small or unnoticed. The damage is massive. People everywhere know this man's name to the point where he even has to walk around with security and everything.
Yeah, he saw the genocide. He saw the genocide in Palestine as an opportunity as well. An opportunity to fucking get more clicks by arguing with the fucking people who support or who are against the death of fucking babies, for fuck's sake. What's wrong with a man? Anyway, carry on, mate. Sorry.
Absolutely. Well, Charlie Veach he is a grifter, obviously, but his heart isn't in it because, as you said with the Palestinian thing, he switched over from actually being a left-wing pro-Palestine actor who was fully that. Those were who he was, but then he saw the money that could be made from these other orders and switched himself over to that. He's one of the earlier pioneers of street shit trash filming, where you go around, start a fight, pick on people who are drunk or otherwise inebriated or vulnerable in one way or the other, and make content out of them. He was the reason why we know Fred the Bodyguard. Essentially, that comes from Charlie Veach. I didn't know Fred the Bodyguard until then, who was another far-right piece of shit. But with Veach specifically, he meets the Grift Must Put In award criteria because at one point he was completely opposite. That just goes to prove that he's not had a change of heart. He's had a change of money. He's had a bit more money.
Yeah. Little jackal boy, another one. So
Society X. That leaves two. We'll start with Society X on this one. Let's go left to right. Society X, as we said earlier, if you speak to him himself, outwardly he isn't a racist. He's not a xenophobic piece of shit and would pretty much get on with most people in most circumstances. However, those donations, well, got to keep the show going somehow. His audience is built up mostly of far-right clapping seals who are like the seagulls out of Finding Nemo, just in the thing of Mike. They're just just absolutely terrible, just fucking mindless people just hammering away at their keyboard. Not all of them, obviously. There's a few fantastic people there. It's the same with, I mean, you could look at any group anywhere. There's always good people in there, but this particular channel is a particularly vicious and nasty variety of these toxic grifting spaces. He doesn't believe any of these things, and yet will still platform folks who will try to tell you that other people are savages based on their ethnicity, that other people don't deserve the same rights as you are. You can hear people advocating for concentration camps, not in those words, but just detention centers where we can put all of these asylum seekers. You know what I'm saying? It's that stuff. So while he doesn't directly say these things, he does platform it and is complicit in the spread of this far-right bullshit that we're seeing a rise of right now. He is not the main driving force behind it. He's only got 15,000 followers, but he is a driving force. Not the main, but he is contributing to a significant problem that this
Fact check. I believe Jamie's got 16,000 followers.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
But yes, and also I believe he's in the comments at the moment saying, do we have any evidence? I will present to you your entire channel. You will host people that are
give him the link.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I mean, no, not even a little bit. No, absolutely not. We've got a thing to do. We're doing our thing. That's that. But no, so the Society X channel, it will platform anybody and everyone that has got a disgusting, dark opinion that they can dress up as just another opinion. They legitimize these views by framing them as just one half of a good faith debate. But you can't have a good faith debate if you're starting in exclusionary, racist, bigoted, or xenophobic talking points. They are not good faith. They are hate speech. You will hear more hate speech on Society X's channel than probably any of the others. Maybe not with Marty Blackburn, but Charlie Veach certainly knows how to toe the line a little bit better. Not just as good. In fact, I'll probably take that back. But Young Bob certainly does as well. It's out there. It's obvious. You just have to look to see it. So, will he finally get his wish? Will he finally have something to talk about? Or will Marty Blackburn steal it? Will Charlie Veach have his bodyguard come in and knock someone the fuck out? What? I'm really sorry. You're gonna have to mute up. I don't know what you're doing, but it's
the winner is
very loud. Oh, was that your?
The
was
winner
that your
is
drum? Was that your drum?
That was my bloody drum roll. What's the matter with
my
you?
mistake. My mistake. The winner
I
is.
went a bit metal, a bit heavy metal.
You ready?
Yep.
Drum roll, please. Come on, Jamie needs this. Marty Blackburn took it again. Amish audits. But to be fair, he deserves it more than Jamie does because Marty goes a step further than everybody else. He's not just a grifter who's out there pushing ideologies. Instead, he's an auditor that is going and manufacturing protests so that he can film them.
It's incredible. So here's what we do. So what you do is, put out posters organising a march, a protest. And you attend that protest and take money off your followers, and you buy yourself a pair of puffy little what's the word? Yeah, what do they call them things? They cover the trainers, stop them getting mud on.
Oh, yeah, nice little trainer covers.
Yeah, you walk around in a pair of them. Yeah, that's basically it. You organise the thing, you get people angry, you give them a bit of a speech, get them even angrier. You take your donations and do one. It's incredible. It's incredible. You organise the whole thing. Completely spontaneous. Yes.
But he goes, it's not just that either. So we have a bit more direct, how do I say it? We have a bit more direct evidence of this. There is a video that we will play just after this, so stick around. I just want to show you something that Marty Blackburn said. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, it's not his exact wording, but it's along the very similar lines. So he said, someone approached him, what is it you're doing here? He's like, I'm filming people for compensation so I can get money. And then they said, wow, that's evil, man. And he said, I know, I am evil. I'm evil for the money. I do it for the money. I don't give a fuck. That man is a self-admitted grifter. He will grift from today. He'll grift tomorrow, every day of the week, twice on a Sunday. That's all this man knows. Amish audits, Marty Blackburn is this year's Griftmas pudding. So that brings us to the conclusion. The very final, we've done it. We've made it through. Thank you for joining us, guys. We really appreciate it. But we do have one more award. We have a special award. But this isn't for Gammons. Are you ready?
Oh. Go on then.
This is the award. Jack Frosty Award. Now, this one is different to all the Gammon Awards. It's not a Gammon Award. It's a Snowman Award. Snowmen are cool people. See what we did there? These are the cool people who have been in the trenches, fighting the far right, standing up to some of the figures that we've been talking about, making themselves known, and for no benefit of themselves. These people get accounts taken off of them, they get demonized, they get attacked at protests, they get called all sorts, they get memed, they get everything. I mean, we're no strangers to that sort of stuff, as we were talking about before. I mean, some people even in this chat, they'll take aim at deceased relatives, they'll take aim at, the most tragic events in your life, simply because they could not find anything to floor your argument. And that's it. That's what these people are about. If there's no logic behind what they do. So instead, they have to go on the attack. And these people deserve recognizing. So we have got Room for Debate, who has been spending so much time breaking down and simplifying the otherwise muddied waters and over complex bullshit and fuckery of the far right, whether it's the individuals on a larger scale or on a smaller scale on YouTube. He's doing it all, and he's doing a great job. He's usually factually correct. He's funny. And I say usually because I don't know if there's been other times where he may have been fact-checked and wrong. I don't know. He's just a human. But he does what he can, and he follows not an organised or direct written down code of conduct, but he's got lines he won't cross, and I respect that. Big up Room for Debate. What an absolute fucking legend. Really, really cool guy. I really hope you continue to do the work that you're doing. I hope you continue to grow. And all of these people in here, all of these nominees that are going to be, well, one of which will receive a Snowman Award, will be the links will be dropped into the chat below. I'll do that just after we finish here. But yeah, let's get to it now. I'm over talking. Street video reviewer. This particular individual has a background in law and has been making some of the most informative breakdowns of auditors that you have seen. He is absolutely incredibly intelligent. Almost to the point of genius. His views are so in-depth. They're so well thought out. He goes down every single avenue. He'll look at the philosophical side of it, the legal side of it. He'll look at the moral side of it. This man is a legend. And yes, we have completely different political views, but I stand with Street Video Review and the content that he makes because he is absolutely class. He makes informative, factually correct, and cites all of his sources and all of his facts. He goes above and beyond. He contacts courts, he speaks to judges, he does the lot, and he brings you all the information that you need to know about a situation and a scene, the far right auditing scene, that is dangerous to everybody. It knows nothing but dirt and harm, that scene. And with people like this, that scene is getting exposed. That takes us on to our next one. Annie Says. Now, Annie, if you're watching, and we know you are. No, you're definitely not. Which is a shame, but we love you, dude. Honestly, the work that you're doing and the shit that you get for it is just absolutely phenomenal.
Particularly the shit she's had from these fucking auditors. That's I have asked a couple of times to see if she'd come on a panel with us to talk about it, but she's chosen not to so far. But never mind. One day we might be able to get together. I have enormous respect for Annie Says. She's had so much shit, and all she was doing was protesting a fucking genocide. You know what I mean? The girl's on the right side of history, for goodness sakes, and they give her such a fucking hard time. Such a hard time. Well done, Annie. Well earned place in this. Yes, very
absolutely,
good.
Yeah, definitely well earned. She's a legend. She absolutely is, especially in these communities. She is a legend. She's the bogeyman of the far right auditors. She's the bogeyman of these pro-genocide streamers that you see going up and down. She's the antithesis of all of that. Annie Says embodies everything that is decent in terms of her, like, I don't know her as a person, but in terms of her political ideology, in terms of her activism and everything else, and her journalistic endeavours. She is a journalist. She's been employed by Canellis. That was a W for Annie.
Good luck with that. I hope that goes well.
Yeah, and she's absolutely brilliant. And at the moment, her YouTube isn't as healthy as all of her other platforms. So go and give her a follow. Make sure you go and check out Annie Says. It's Annie.Says, but I will be dropping the link out in the chat in just a minute.
Might be Annie Says 1. Might have a number 1
yeah,
after
that's
it. Or even a number 2. But yeah, well done, girl. Well done, girl. So,
up next, the next nominee is, you see that dancing love heart there?
Yeah.
That's meant to represent DBS. Unfortunately, I couldn't use their profile picture because they were mass reported and ganged up on by several very much larger auditors. In fact, famously, there was a channel with well over 100,000 subscribers at that time, and this channel had only a few hundred subscribers, and they were targeted for simply speaking the truth. And despite all of the targets, despite being doxxed, despite having their information, their names being broadcasted like people like Society X, despite being falsely accused of writing documents that he shared that he had nothing to do with, all of us had that. We all had that shit. And DBS was right there with us in the trenches when we were talking about stochastic auditing, when the community was first coming to grips with what a stochastic auditor was. And not only that, I should have put on here as well, just imagine there is another nominee, and that is the author of the stochastic auditing document, the stochastic auditing theory. Yeah, these people have all taken their unfair share of shit, abuse. Annie's been assaulted. Street Video Review has been smeared. Room for Debate is constantly hounded, especially when he's in other people's chats. And DBS even had his YouTube channel taken off of him. And so, who do you think is most earning of all of these? Is it Room for Debate, Street Video Reviewer, Annie Says, DBS, or Concerned Netizen? I've just remembered now that was the name. Concerned Netizen, the author of the stochastic auditing theory.
Oh, of course, yeah. I wouldn't like to make this decision.
Well, good news for you, Dad. You don't have to.
Yay!
Everyone's a winner. These guys get the Snowman Awards, all of them. We couldn't possibly pick between you. You are all of them incredible. And we love every single thing that you do. The work that you put in is not unnoticed. The shit that you take and you fucking chew it down and keep on going is not unnoticed. We see you, we admire you, and we gift you a snowman from a couple of to you legends. Well done.
Well done, gang. So hooray for us and everybody else.
Hooray for us and everybody else. And that's it. But don't worry, guys, because as of right now, we are already watching. We're already recording. We're already getting the categories up.
Remember, if you think we're talking about you, we are.
So until next time, folks, until next year, the Gammon Awards will return. Stay safe, love and peace. And that concludes the Gammon Awards.